Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. T1 managed to win against Detonation FocusMe, but the early game was a little bit more hard fought than I was expecting. Raz is joining me as we're going to set up for DFM versus Saigon Buffaloes in just a moment, but I was pretty impressed with how DFM handled the early game. They managed to pick up a few kills, they managed to move some of their threats around the map and pull out a small advantage over T1, at least during the first 14 minutes.
Yeah, and I just love how Harp was in the top side of the map. And first of all, the draft, right? Wukong first pick, we kind of expected that. Being able to have a strong team fight composition. Also, when the wave was pushing out for Zeus, just being able to find that moment. And then Harp, active. These are the things we wanted to see from this team. And we talked about historically how Detonation FocusMe make it close versus T1. But much like as I mentioned about that historically, always ended on a T1 win.
But it does make me excited how they approach the early game, and I want to talk about that in a moment. The standings you're seeing on your screen will tell you two things. T1 have now locked the Rumble stage. Team Ace, from their loss previously, are eliminated from Rumble stage. And if you are a fan of Detonation FocusMe and you want them to advance, this needs to happen. They need to go 2-0, taking down Saigon Buffaloes and Team Ace, and they need the Saigon Buffaloes to go 0-2. Obviously losing to DFM, as well as T1. Those two scenarios happen, and we will get a tiebreaker game for that second seed into Rumble.
Seems likely.
Hold that thought for a moment, because I want to unpack. I want you to tell me which team's going to do it. But before we get into the next game, let's see what Saigon Buffalo Shogun had to say after their win versus Team A's in the Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you very much, Quickshot. We have Shogun here with me right now. Congratulations on your first win of the day. How confident do you feel now that you're going to be able to get out of your group by the end of today?
Thì đầu tiên là chúc mừng mình với chiến thắng vừa rồi ha. Thì bạn cảm giác có tự tin về việc là mình sẽ vượt qua được vòng bảng này và tới với vòng hỗn chiến hay không?
Với chiến thắng này thì bọn em khá là tự tin sẽ vượt qua được vòng bảng.
So with this victory, we are pretty confident that we will win over a group stage and go to the Rumble stage.
Of course, there's going to be a chance for a tiebreaker as well, possibly today. Your next opponent is going to be DFM. We're expecting a pretty close matchup here. What are you expecting?
Thì hiện tại là mọi người đang chờ đợi một cái cuộc đối đầu rất là căng thẳng giữa team mình và team DFM. Thì không biết là team bạn có cái kỳ vọng gì trong cái cuộc đối đầu sắp tới với DFM?
Em nghĩ cũng kết quả thì cũng như lượt đi thôi. Team em sẽ giành chiến thắng DFM.
So I think like the result will be similar to the first round robin, that we're gonna get the victory.
When it comes to the teams in your group as well, everybody I feel like brings something different. You all have your own styles, your picks. What would you say is your biggest win condition, especially going into the next two games?
Thì mọi người cảm giác là team mình là mỗi người đã có một cái đều mang một cái màu sắc gì đó tới với cái team, với cái lối chơi của team Saigon Buffalo ha. Thì bạn nghĩ rằng là cái điều kiện thắng của mình cho những trận đấu sắp tới trong ngày hôm nay là gì?
Em nghĩ điều kiện thắng của team em đó là bọn em đánh đúng đội hình và đánh đúng như chiến thuật như huấn luyện viên đưa ra là bọn em sẽ chiến thắng.
So I think that our win condition is that we will stick to our game plan, to stick our composition and listen to our coach instruction, and we will get that victory.
Would you be able to tell me a little bit about what your game plan is? Of course, you got to go up against T1, so you have to come in with a very strong game plan.
Thì không biết là mình đã có bất kỳ cái kế hoạch nào để đối đầu với lại đội tuyển T1 trong lần tái đấu trong ngày hôm nay hay không?
Em nghĩ sau trận thua T1 ở lượt đi thì bọn em khá là tiếc, nhưng bây giờ bọn em đã chuẩn bị rất là kỹ để chuẩn bị cho lượt về để trả thù cho T1.
So we feel very unfortunate that we lost to T1 in the first round robin. So we have prepared very carefully to take that revenge against T1 in later today.
Thank you very much. I can't wait to see it, and good luck in your games.
Thì coi như là mọi người đang rất là mong chờ về trận đấu đó ha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Saigon Buffalo, they're in a great position now. Quickshot, let's see if they can get their revenge today.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. Shogun and Saigon Buffaloes talking a lot about introspection, talking a lot about their own preparation. Raz, I'm going to put you in a difficult position now.
Okay.
I have one ticket for Quickshot support, and I don't know where to spend it. On
You haven't decided yet.
DFM or Saigon Buffalo. So I want you to give me a sales pitch, right? Which one of these teams should get my support, my adoration, and my love? And I want you to tell me about DetonatioN FocusMe first.
Okay, I'll start with DFM. I'll talk about just the history of the region, how they got here to begin with, because we will remember DetonatioN FocusMe being able to make it here. Remember, just at Worlds, last time we saw them, if you can see the players behind me, the fact that since 2017, the core of Steel, of Yutapon, of course, and of Evi in the top set of the map remained firm. They've been coming to event after event. Yutapon's been here since the very beginning, so he's the OG. But remember, for so long at international events, it was a story about they could never make it to the second stage. But just at Worlds, the fact that they had that historic moment where they confirmed the fact that they can make it to the second stage.
I mean, take a look at the players' reactions. I remember watching that and being blown away because, you know that story you always tell about players taking back the experience, learning from international competition?
Yes.
This is a team that proved that it works. It actually provided value, and DFM have gotten better and better over the years, right?
Exactly. The stocks are going up and up. At that time, it was with Arya, it was with Gang, and so that looked like the super team of the region. And so, faith was getting a little bit more dim because they lost 2 of their players, but it felt like with Yaharong and Harp, they got stronger. So, the faith is there. If you wanted to lead with your heart, this is the team to do it with.
Tell me about current form then, because they are the team that lost to Saigon Buffalo. So how strong are they going to be, and why should I put my ticket on them?
Look, they may have lost it, but you can see the redemption of their early portions of the game. If I'm looking at Evi, the king of the top lane, even hearing from Jad, how he is saying he's a world-class player, and he's rallying the troops around his cause on the top side of the map. And so looking at the top side of the map early last time they faced, you have faith that they know how to play the game proper.
Okay. I've got history, I've got Evi, I've got current form. Saigon Buffaloes, why should I vote for them?
Look, if we're talking about history, you're not going to like this. It's actually going to hurt you a little bit.
No, where are we going?
Look, I know G2's in this tournament. Every time the Saigon Buffaloes have gone to an international event, because this isn't the first time this organization has gone there, guess who was the constant victim to them?
Yeah, I really don't need that reminder.
G2.
Yeah, spam Mark Ruffalo to help the Fongfu Buffaloes.
The Fongfu Buffalo.
The previous names, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
But the region wasn't just about them. In fact, people will remember the Gigabyte Marines of Levi. The fact that Levi and the rest of this team would just be able to find wins, not just against G2 and all that, because they took one game, I remember in 2017 Worlds versus Fnatic, but also the North American representative is Immortals, and they couldn't make it out of the groups because of that. The region spawned. Oh God, it's happening in front of you.
Level 6 at 4 minutes. I'm physically in pain watching this replay, but kudos to the region and VCS, consistently the most kill-heavy, action-heavy region in the world, right?
And they're able to convert it on the international stage because you can remember Gigabyte Marines, you can remember at the time the Fongfu Buffaloes, even EVOS when they had Warzone and Yijin. These guys have studs on an international stage that have confidence, right? That they can take it up against some of the best teams in the world. So internationally amazing, and then you bring in some young players, young talent who are doing it again in Shogun. So just across the board, you could see it happening here. Shogun individually at this tournament has been able to do that. Taki by his side, funny enough, looking at him domestically, doing it on such an array of picks. The Camille support, the Sion support, they're able to do it on everything. And guess what? Even though these players are all young and it feel like, new, fresh faces on the scene.
Yeah.
These aren't your young man's Buffaloes. These are your old man's Mark Ruffalo Saigon Buffaloes. Okay, so if this in and of itself didn't convince you just yet, the fact that Mark Ruffalo supports this team should be able to sell you, right?
I can't wait for his agent to get back in touch with you. Okay, so I've got the sales pitch, I've got the memification, I've also got the most recent form. Can I check in on what the fans think before I decide who I'm going to support? Because it is time for our MasterCard fan predictions. You can vote at MasterCard Nexus on Twitter every single day for the tournament, and the fans are voting in favor of...
Drum roll.
Saigon Buffalo 37%, Detonation FocusMe 62%.
We got a lot of believers out there. Are
Just-
you one of many believers?
No, I'm not.
Wow.
You've sold me. Saigon Buffaloes already have a win against DFM. We just heard from Shogun talking about the similar expectations to last time. It was a scrappy game between these two teams. I feel like the second seed from VCS has something to prove. I'm voting for them. I think they're going to do it.
There we go.
Has
Look,
nothing
maybe
to, is nothing to do with the Hulk. at all.
nothing to do with him.
Nothing to do with the Hulk.
The intelligence, the strength, the celebrity power.
One last thought before we go to
Okay.
the casters. Who are you predicting to win this game?
You know what? Just because you said Saigon Buffaloes, I think Detonation FocusMe. I'm a part of the believers.
Contrarian. Contrarian, just for the sake of contrary sake. Let's head over to the casters to find out who will be victorious between Saigon Buffalo and Detonation FocusMe.
Thank you, Quickshot and Raz. I am joined here by Aux for the next couple of games, as unfortunately Wolf, he was hit with some sickness in his throat. Obviously not corona, but he is not feeling so great.
Yeah.
And we brought on Aux here for the next couple of games. This should be interesting. My first time casting with you, and
You know, it's actually also my first time casting with you. It's funny that. It's funny how it
Whoa.
works. Yeah, yeah.
and it's a huge game, right? You know.
Oh, yeah.
We are subbing you in here, Aux, for Detonation FocusMe versus Saigon Buffalo. And basically, Detonation FocusMe, they need to take this win if they want to try to tie it up and if they want to have a chance to get out of this group.
Yeah, it is a big one. It's a fight for second that everyone had their eyes on going in today. And obviously, Saigon Buffalo is the one who won this matchup last time, so essential for DFM to come out here. Start to see the bans come in. Lucian critically denied. We saw Shogun have a fantastic game on that last time these two matched up.
It's really important. You know, you were talking to me about the draft the first time these guys met together, and you were not very impressed by what DFM had in store, so hopefully they prepared something new today.
Yeah, I mean, critically, the fact that they banned 2 AD carries in the first rotation and then the Lucian still went over was an issue. I think ultimately for Saigon Buffalo, Shogun has been such a massive aspect for their team, so shutting them down, really important.
Yeah, it is going to be very big, as we do see, once again, the Urgot is going to be banned away from Heavy. They are just not letting him get that, as Kalista is going to be the first pick here for Saigon Buffalo.
Pretty bold. I honestly was expecting maybe like the Wukong first pick, but that's still being left open, but opting in for the early pressure bot lane. And ultimately, despite the fact DFM found advantages early in the top side, Saigon Buffalo definitely had the bot lane lead, so investing into that. And quickly we see the Wukong come out, and then also toying with the idea of taking the AD carry here.
Yeah, they were thinking about the Aphelios, but they do consider the Zeri as well. But it is going to be the Aphelios at the end of the day, and this is what they found some success with, at least the picks in the early game against T1.
Yeah, and ultimately, if you don't find early momentum in the Kalista, you're so short range, you're going to have to be up close and personal to Aphelios. You will not have a good time, especially with the right gun rotation. Now, I think the jungle matchup between these two teams is really important. Steel has had fantastic early games so far this tournament, so I expect a jungler to come out for Saigon in the first 3, but they will lock in that Gwen. We have seen this flex between mid and top, though.
We have seen it flexed, and I mean, it's been very successfully flexed as well, so it's cool that they do let that one go through, and they're also going to go ahead and pick up the Diana, so that's a lot of AP damage right from the get-go. We'll see how that works for them.
Yeah, so does make sense if they were to put this Gwen towards the mid lane if they felt it was appropriate, or to pick an AD mid just to make sure they have a good damage profile. Ultimately, Diana, a very fast clearer, can outpace the Wukong, and similarly offers a lot of team fight power when it comes down to matching up in those 5v5s.
Really like the Alistar pickup here. You consider, like, if Saigon end up with Yasuo and Alistar, that would have been a really insane wombo combo team fight composition. Not going to allow that to happen. The Alistar can disengage very well. Also could do very well alongside of that Aphelios.
Yeah, and honestly, Yasuo ban ends up coming out. I feel like makes a lot of sense in the situation as they do need that AD damage profile. Alistar also exceptional into Kalista, that point-and-click CC. No real way to outplay it. Now, we do see Saigon starting to target the mid lane pool a little bit, and I do feel like for both these teams, there have been games where the mid laners have struggled, particularly up against T1. It's somewhere that they very much focus pressure towards, so I think ensuring a good matchup there could do so much for these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. What is going to be the final ban? Will it be another AD mid here, perhaps a Yone or something like that, as the timer will run down? And they will go ahead and ban away the Nautilus. So just another pick that would be very good alongside of the Kalista. Don't mind that at all.
And honestly, we saw the Gragas earlier today as a counter to the Alistar. I think it makes a lot of sense, right? I think Taki performed really well on it, and it has that strong duo because your engage becomes more reliable with the Kalista in tow. So potentially an option that they do have, but the pool being trimmed a bit with that Nautilus going, and more mid lane bans with this Syndra being denied away from Yaharong.
Yeah, even after the last game, they say, well, he's still a good Syndra player, regardless of how FLICKR was able to, take advantage of that lane. And, something that Evi could do is pick up the Gragas for himself, like you're saying, if they do want to deny it, but maybe not the choice here as they are considering the Zoe. Oh? And now the Vel'Koz really throwing a spanner into the works. Yeah, it is going to be that Vel'Koz here for DFM.
Yeah, so this is one of the mid laners that actually got buffed coming into MSI. Higher AP ratio on the Q and W. Didn't change too much, but ultimately, these champions are short range. If you get locked up in that Vel'Koz ult combo, especially with a Wukong or an Alistar on top of it, really good front to back. And Saigon actually locking in the Kai'Sa here, so potentially going to see a mid lane Kai'Sa. Now the AP Kai'Sa did get nerfed, the AP ratio did get very heavily hit on the W, but we could still see it come out, and absolutely if you need AD though, I think the AD build would make sense in the situation, but ultimately a very heavy dive focused composition for the Saigon Buffaloes.
Very interesting. I think they're going to try to make the Aphelios and Vel'Koz's lives a living hell in this one and just try to get right in their faces. The Tryndamere is going to be the response for the top lane.
Yeah, a bit of an Evi special here, something he brought out consistently in the LGL and was actually forcing bans, something that teams struggle to deal with. And we'll return to that one with this 5-pick counter pick. Now, into the Gwen can find momentum in that matchup if you do snowball. The Gwen, obviously, is great at dealing with range champions with the W. When you get up close and personal to it, not as ideal.
Yeah, I kind of want to see, Evi coming off of that win in the lane, essentially, up against Zeus in the last game. Maybe he picks up the Tryndamere and he says, okay, time for me to try to body another lane, especially holding that counter pick for that lane, as you did mention. So definitely a big one. DFM know that everything is on the line, and they're going to pull out all the stops. They're going to pull out the new pick with the Vel'Koz that recently got buffed, and Evi will be jumping back onto that Tryndamere.
So it looks like it might actually be the Kalista going to Froggy. Potentially in the mid lane, could also human swap, which is where you don't swap champions, but you swap players. And where they are, we have obviously seen top Kalista before historically, but I think it syncs very well with the Diana in terms of setup and does provide the AD profile. But definitely a curveball. You know they've been sort of saving these wacky and wonderful things for a big match like this. And this game will likely decide the outcome of this group for second place. A win for Saigon Buffaloes will lock them in. A win for DFM will likely lead to a tiebreaker between them later.
Potentially, unless Team A's want to play upset team. We'll have to wait and see. Still more to this group that will be coming here even after this one. And from what it looks like, doesn't look like there was any swap bug or anything like that. So we just got mid-Ignite Kalista coming in here. She is going to be tethered to the Diana.
Makes sense.
Who will be thrown into the fight. And they're just going to go balls to the wall here.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
That's what this comp does.
This is pretty wild. I'm interested to see how this plays out. It does have, obviously with the Yasuo, you normally follow up on the Diana here. You're kind of setting it up, but I expect a lot of aggression around mid lane. Vel'Koz kind of gets to the point where eventually he can just clear waves quite comfortably from a distance. I think that's where it becomes harder to punish. So I want to see some early attention towards mid. And honestly, Taki on this set, if he can find a roam timer, I would love to see him burn flash mid. Even if they don't kill Yaharong, just trading the summoners can make so much of a difference.
I can't wait to see this top lane matchup as well. I mean, Hasmed was playing the Aatrox against Team A's really, really well. I was loving his mechanics. I think he got a lot of practice on that as well. I think he's going to be really ready to jump into this one. Now, Evi has snuck into this brush. We'll see if he does end up doing anything cheeky here. As Froggy could come in behind him, but they don't know that he's there.
Oh, it could be so risky if he gets spotted out early and the Kalista's able to move, but it looks like he's waiting long enough, and Evi could just run interruption here, right? With the E level 1 and Tryndamere, it's actually very hard.
Oh, this is so annoying. BeanJ's like, what the hell, man? This isn't fair. As Ignite comes in, and the blue will be tethered as now Hasmed is coming up from the top lane. He's going to start getting those scissors to work here onto Evie, but he's got another spin to win, and he will get out alive.
Yeah, so you do burn the Ignite from Evie, but it's a short cooldown. Critically, no flash for BeanJ does make him vulnerable early and will slow down the pathing. And actually, you can see on the mini-map, critically, Steel is doing his namesake, and he's going to steal away the enemy red from BeanJ. So good coordination from them to punish that invade.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. This is kind of what we saw at a DFM when they faced up against T1. We saw some very obvious preparation in how they wanted to play around the top side and how they wanted to punish Zeus. And just like this, once again, you know, it's a set play essentially, and it's going to get you some really nice early leads. Now, we definitely want to see them be able to push it in a little bit better from the early lead than they did against T1.
Yeah, and I think similarly against Saigon Buffalo, the last time they had this matchup, for me, DFM's control of the early was really strong. They kind of got to the point where they had a substantial lead, and it came down to the team fight execution where Saigon Buffalo managed to pull ahead. So it's a good start. It's kind of expected DFM will come out the gate strong, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And critically, if you have a look at the mid lane matchup, Yaharong is not having a good time. Remember, at this point, you don't have many points in your abilities. Your wave clear is not quite there, and Froggy is so scary. A couple of autos and the Ignite, the Rend will kill you here.
Yeah.
It's a painful position to be in.
And imagine playing Vel'Koz into a guy that's hopping around a million times. Like, you're not going to knock him up, right? As Harp is going in, he's taking a lot of damage. He's diving the mid-turret. Here, Froggy picks up first blood. And another kill in the bottom side as Taki's going to pick up the one onto Harp. Yutapon still full health and nearly full mana, but not able to help him out here.
So much action instantly coming in. Froggy does manage to secure that kill on the low HP Vel'Koz, and now it looks like there might be a follow-up. Yutapon, you're in trouble.
He's in a lot of trouble. There's no flash here for Taki though, and the wave is kind of sparse at this time, so they're not gonna take the risk here.
Yeah, Alistar coming back as well. Those short death timers early in the game don't want to overstay, but ultimately, similar to last time we saw the matchup between Saigon Buffalo and DFM, we see the bot lane. Oh, more fighting coming in.
Yeah, and BeanJ's like, okay, you want to go? Let's drop the gloves. They're going in onto Harp, who doesn't have much here.
Yaharong.
And now Yaharong's behind enemy lines. He's got 4 people on him, but Yutapon gets a huge kill into everybody, and DFM are turning this one around. The follow-up hit, but Pulverize will be enough, and that is a triple kill now for Steel, as Taki is on the run here.
The
One
auto
could do it. Oh, but he's not going to hit it. Harp taking a huge amount of damage, and now he's going to die. This game is insane already.
This game is everything we wanted and more, and Steel coming in, managing to clean up that skirmish. The Wukong with all cooldowns available, with Flash as well, able to do so much work there. We will get the replay, so fight starts off, Harp maybe a bit overextended, but critically we see so much invested to try and burn down this Alistar, and then the fight turns on Yaharong. And again, Vel'Koz isn't the most pivotal champion here, but the knockup does a lot of work. And then here, the AoE from Yutapon combined with Steel, that E connecting on so many people, and then the cooldowns are back up for Harp. Flawless execution, and yeah, Harp does overstep a little bit, but a big win for DFM.
A big bait, mate, that does come in from Harp, as now he's trying to set up a little bit more and stop this pesky Kalista. He's going to get a nice amount of damage in, will Yaharong, but no set play will come through.
Yeah, but both supports showing up, and it does mean that Froggy's able to push the wave in, move down towards the river. Don't see anything really come from that play. Critically, Yaharong will be able to get better and better wave clear, so the mid lane matchup won't be as painful, but my concern is still going to be that level 6 point when Froggy can launch a Diana into your face. Not a fun time.
It's not a fun time. I think that Saigon Buffalo will have a lot of fun as this game does come along with some of those team fights. Whether they'll win or lose them, we'll have to wait and see, but it should be fun. As Steel, 3-0, he's level 5. Maybe even trying to soak a little bit of XP and make something happen, but Froggy is just moving away from him and looking to get started onto this early Drake for SGB.
And something I want to mention is the objective control will be really good for Saigon Buffalo. Diana, one of the fastest objective takers because she just does so much damage in neutral objectives. On top of that, Kalista, not as good as she used to be in securing neutrals, but she still does help assist. If you time the Rend and Smite, it can be very hard to contest. So nice early Dragon from Saigon Buffalo. Just to pick that one up when they have the timing.
There is more than 1,000 gold difference. I'm going to have to hold that thought. It's level 6 Tryndamere against level 5 Gwen. The Ghost already popped here. He only has still the Doran's shield, so unfortunately for him, he's not really doing too much damage. Still looking for those crits, but Hasmed is just able to ward him off for now.
Yeah, and critically, something to mention is the exhaust taken by Hasmed. I think this makes a lot of sense on a Gwen when you feel like you're going to be pressured early. You don't really want to opt into the 1v1. For Hasmed, if nothing happens in the lane and you just get to scale up, you are so happy with that outcome. So has an extra tool in his arsenal to mitigate that pressure.
It's very annoying for Yaharong. He is getting closer, though, to having a lot of points in his abilities to be able to just clear the wave with a couple of E's and stuff like that. But yeah, he doesn't really do too much against the Kalista still, as Evie still on only the Doran shield, so he's just kind of hanging out up there on the top side. He doesn't have teleport, of course. He did take Ignite and Ghost, and so definitely kind of annoying for him. He is going to back finally now, as he does look for some items.
Yeah, we can kind of center our focus towards the Herald, which is spawning soon. Now, a critical thing is that Taki's not really going to be able to get an easy reset here because of the prio, but there's very much control in the solo lanes for the Saigon Buffaloes, so they could just look for that without a window for the supports to roam up. I expect Harp might actually move to stop that from happening. If he resets now, he can be in the vicinity and kind of mitigate a quick Herald play from BeanJ.
You see Froggy and how aggressive he is standing in the lane even. He had some nice vision, but now all Steel has to do is come on over, deny some vision, and some of that prio in the mid lane will be taken away. Now, BeanJ is nearby. He's level 6, but the stealth monkey is coming in. Steel's looking for more, as we do have an emote that is popped, but Froggy easily just going to flash away. And now Taki, alongside of BeanJ, he is going to be thrown in, and Yaharong will be taken down. Steel kind of baiting his mid laner into that one as they went very deep and they get punished.
Yeah, you do not want to be a Vel'Koz in these skirmishes. So much CC, so much lockdown, and if they get onto you, which is so easy to do with that Kalista ultimate, it's not going to be a fun time now. Taki is potentially fishing for something.
Oh, no, he gets slowed, and that might just be Steel. Oh,
no, the W! It was the clone!
It was the clone! Oh, no! Not like this, but Froggy is going to bite the bullet on the backside of that one. He is the one who gets punished for it.
Oh,
and now DFM just walk over to the Rift Herald and maybe they take it down.
I mean, Taki didn't need to make a play there. Just his presence was enough to mitigate DFM, but now because he tried, because he failed, they're able to start up the Herald, but Saigon Buffalo not going to give it over for free.
Yaharong's back. He's like, I hope I don't die again. Both mid laners 1 and 3 at this moment in time. A lot of posturing around this objective. It really looks like SGB do not want to give this one up.
I think Harp's going to Hex Flash.
And he's going to try to set that one up. He finds Hasmed on the frontier. He's not quite level 6, and now the needles are coming out here as the Moonfall comes in. That's a lot of damage on the Harp. Steel not able to set up too much either, as BJ's still going in there, and the needles get onto that backline as well. Heavy desperately trying to shore something up here and get a kill onto Hasmed, but it is not going to happen. And Saigon Buffalo, now they are in control of the pit.
Critically fighting without the Wukong ultimate makes so much difference in those scrappy close-range skirmishes, and Saigon Buffalo, they win that out 3v4. Froggy not even there at the start of the play, but they will secure that Herald. Huge for them to continue that early momentum. If you look at the gold lead, about 2,000 now.
Oh no, Evie.
Oh no.
Baited into this one, although, can they actually chase him down? No needle work here for Hasmed, as the damage and the mobility barely coming. No, he is going to survive. Evie does have to ghost, though, to get away. As now Steel. Now it's his turn to try to come in for the fight. And he is not going to commit to it. So, after all that, Steel, he is still in a good spot. He did pick up his MasterCard Mythic item with that Divine Sunderer. But this game, it's like already off the rails, and we just passed the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, there's been so much action, so much back and forth, and both teams, looking for more.
They're going in. Taki, though, he just laughs in their face. Still no Tryndamere ultimate available, but the Wukong pretty strong, and they will be able to take down and shut down, actually, the enemy support.
Yeah, kind of unexpected when Taki is the one with the shutdown, but this Wukong is going to be so fed with all the gold he's gotten from those kills and on that shutdown. But critically, staying quite a long time top lane will free up a Herald play bot. We can see a replay, and ultimately, the knockup doesn't quite connect with enough members. Hasmed doesn't take too much damage, and then when they overcommit for the fight, it's a big ult from Diana, a lot of damage from the Gwen as well, and ultimately in those long skirmishes, the Gwen can just absolutely flourish.
And it's just so easy for them, as we've got another objective, so that means we will have more fighting between this. The knockup from the Vel'Koz actually hits a Kalista. As now Harp level 6 is looking to get that engaged. Nice turnaround here from BeanJ. Can they actually take him down, though? The red buff available here for Steel, and that should be the end of him eventually. Another shutdown as Steel is 6-1 now.
Yeah, and that's something for this Wukong. I feel like this is a pick that we've seen so much priority on, but if you snowball, it can just be devastating now. What is going on?
Oh, no. As now Shogun has to flash away. He's just been quietly farming in the bottom lane. He's like, I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm just farming.
There's such limited time to talk about what's going on, because it's just like every time I start a point, there's action again.
Have you ever considered being a play-by-play, a second play-by-play,
double
perhaps?
play-by-play probably would have worked here. We should have called Medic in to have him step up.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I mean, we still have the Herald in pocket of Saigon Buffalo, but thanks to that play from DFM, they've closed the goal gap. It's only about 500 here, but critically 2 dragons in pocket for Saigon Buffalo, and it will be a Hextech Dragon. Now, we see this play, Froggy, a little bit isolated, overextending, and ultimately, you got the dragon, you didn't need to make that play. We do see that trade kill, but BeanJ kind of has to use everything to get it.
Yeah, and he gives another shutdown over again. So it's an extra 150 gold once again into the pockets of Steel on the Wukong, as the Rift Herald was, of course, secured by Saigon Buffalo. They are going to throw it into the bottom side and pick up all the turret plates there. So a nice little spread. And you'll note, you know, we have the gold available down on the bottom side. You can see that Shogun, I said he was quietly farming. He's got a nice 800 gold lead in this game. So throughout all of the action, and even though Yutapon was very big in that one team fight, we still have a very fed Kai'Sa at this point in time.
I feel like the funny thing is both mid laners have kind of been starved just because like they're both 1 and 4, have to join in all these fights. Critically, it does look like it's going to be like a lethality Kalista build. I've seen people talk about this bit. Essentially, like the Q damage, like Q into E, can be so threatening. It does mean you can play with a bit longer range. Kind of similar to lethality Xayah in that way.
Yeah. It's a cool idea, you know, just a lot of different AD champions trying to use those items. And let's see how this one works out. The headset gate's already coming in here. There is exhaust taken for Yutapon in this game, so he just kind of laughs at that. Steel, I don't know about that one, buddy. You're going to have to flash away from that, and now we've got a Kai'Sa into the back line. Taki is going to push them together, and that might just be enough, but a really nice turnaround and a huge ultimate comes in from Yutapon. Froggy, though, he's putting the wrench into everybody, and the Ignite will take down Yutapon, as now Saigon Buffalo are the ones that are turning this one around. Harp is just left out to dry, and Yaharong will get away, but man, this game is insane.
Such a back and forth, and you can see when Saigon Buffalo can connect on a target, the dive is there, it works, but when Yaharong and Yutapon got space, they managed to sort of turn it around, but things are just so chaotic, so back and forth. Ultimately though, Saigon Buffalo do have a 3,000 gold lead after winning out on that play. Critically, Steel going down, big shutdown going over to them, and now we have a minute 45 until the next strike. Let's have a look at this replay again. So initially, you know, a lot expended here from BeanJ. He does get the exhaust, and then it's DFM trying to kite away on this one. And Saigon Buffalo, they step forwards, but they only really target the front line. No, Yutapon and Yaharong, they get stunned, but they flash out and start to turn things around. This is when things are positive. But then they run out of cooldowns. Critically, Taki gets his back up, and they start to advance forwards. And ultimately, the thing with this Vel'Koz is if you're hitting your skill shots, fantastic. But any slight miss or a dodge, and you just lose so much damage.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't see those champions get played very often because of that. It can be so hit or miss. But man, you could tell in that last team fight we had, of course, our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, Shogun versus Yutapon. These two guys in that last team fight were so crucial. They did incredible amounts of damage. And even Yutapon on the backside of it nearly was able to turn around for his team.
I love that. Despite everything going on in the fight, there was that moment where people wait for cooldowns, and we had the Shogun Yutapon mano-a-mano 1v1 occur in the middle. Something to note is that Shogun now does have both the Kraken Slayer and the Phantom Dancer, so a ton of damage available to him. 3-1-3 currently, and yeah, item lead over Yutapon right now.
It's kind of insane what he has been able to build for himself, mostly ignoring the action until he was very much needed for it in that last fight, as now will be the second Rift Herald to be handed over to Saigon Buffalo. Doesn't look like DFM are ready to fight over that one.
Yeah, and I think critically you want to take the mid-tier 1 with this still up and available, and again something... Oh, Potentially looking for a fight here.
Yeah, Taki is a little bit caught up, but he immediately turns it back. He actually brings Steel towards his team, and he still has that Haymaker shield. Taki, though, kind of being chased down here. You can see that DFM are considering going for the fight, but
oh, the Herald.
Low. Yep, it will be denied. Nice little smite there, and they will keep their mid-tier 1.
Yeah, really important there. And when we look at DFM's composition, things like the Aphelios, the Vel'Koz will scale exceptionally into what Saigon Buffalo has. So anything that slows the game down really positive. And honestly, they're looking to take this opportunity to pressure the enemy mid-tier 1.
Yeah, all 5 of them group up. They are able to eventually take this one down, I suppose. Just letting the minions get the last bit of that done. But Hasmed took that time and he's like, yeah, I'll just go top and take this one myself. And he should be able to get that. But will he be there on time with no teleport for this Hextech Drake is really the question. As DFM are starting this one up.
I think they can just rush this. It will sacrifice mid-tier 1 most likely, but you deny an earlier soul for Saigon Buffalo. You know that the Gwen isn't there, so comfortable to take it. Saigon Buffalo will look to move up and potentially meet this top wave, but it looks like they're just stealing away camps for now.
Just moving through the jungle, you know, just sucking up everything they can get in the jungle as they go through. Like a vacuum cleaner. And Zevi, he's totally fine up on the top side, but yeah. Kind of surprised that Saigon Buffalo just decided, okay, we're just going to give away that Hex check. We're not going to push mid into the Vel'Koz. And they haven't really been able to get anything else off the back of it.
Yeah, but those camps will help, and ultimately Steel tries to go for his own. Steel doesn't find anything. Oh, big play.
Okay, they're going in onto Yutapon, and this is what they can do to the immobile carries of DFM. It is just so difficult for them to handle that, as a big laser is going to hit Froggy, though. As Yaharong says, I can do some big damage myself, as the exhaust will come in onto Evie, but he's still going onto Shogun, and he will shut him down for a huge amount of gold. As Steel is going 1v2 on the backside as well. Steel on Taki, everybody else on Hasmed as Hasmed kills 2 of them. How is he able to do this on the Gwen? Does he have the sustain? No, he does not. It is the alley-oop into the hands of the monkey as Steel will take him down for the 9th kill.
Man, I feel like Hasmed and Steel, both huge performances in that fight, both doing so much that ultimately it is Steel, but DFM who comes out ahead, managing to clean up at the end. But man, what a champion Gwen is.
It's just, oh man. I was watching Steel go 1v2 and I thought that was good. And then I look up and yeah, as you mentioned, Gwen has some ways to make this happen. And remember that it all started here with Yutapon being 100-0. Yeah,
just completely deleted from the game, even with the exhaust. We do see Froggy going down to the combo from the Vel'Koz, but then this extended fight up on the top side, you know, Shogun just gets completely chased down by the Tryndamere. So little you can do. But ultimately, Hasmed, against a bunch of champions who get up close to him in his face, because Yaharong ends up stepping too far forward, he finds so much value and healing. The stopwatch comes in, and it's like, that should be it, but gets the turnaround. So well played.
Oh man, you could see Evie was like, oh, I'm gonna help you guys. Oh, that was a really nice, this guy passed geometry. He got a really nice Q in there, and he's able to secure the kill onto Froggy.
Oh, but this could be the cost.
Saigon say, maybe we can just do Baron?
And remember, critically, really fast Baron, the Diana, the Kai'Sa there. They don't have the Kalista to help secure the smite, but they will start this one up. But the approach starts to come out from DFM, and they don't want to risk it. 15-15 in kill score at 20 minutes. And remember, the winner of this game, if it's Saigon Buffalo, they will just likely, well, almost definitely, I think they just secure second off this, yeah. DFM, if they win it, they can likely force a tiebreaker. So huge stakes on this game for both regions, for both teams.
Yeah, just to confirm, definitely is the confirmation into the next round if Saigon Buffalo do get the win. So DFM, I mean, they're fighting for their lives here, right? Saigon Buffalo, even if they do lose this game, there is a chance that later on, you know, in a tiebreaker or, you know, other games that they could potentially still come out ahead. So everything really on the line here, and it all culminates in a game like this.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it myself.
I mean, I expected it to be hypey, but this is like another level. It's still a gold lead and a dragon lead for Saigon Buffalo, but DFM have kept it close, and ultimately, I really... Oh, more action. I don't get time to talk.
They're going to find BeanJ here, and remember, this is a very fed Wukong, as the W will be dodged, and BeanJ will be followed up onto a Shogun. He will kite it back, and he, at least, will not bite the dust as well. So now, DFM with a very important pick-off onto the enemy jungler.
Yeah, Smite is down, so potential to start up the Baron, but ultimately, still a lot of combat power for Saigon Buffalo, and they are going to move over Baron, they started with a move off. They're looking for the fight.
And Hasmed saw him coming in, but he doesn't seem to care, but he gets 100 to 0'd. And down he will go. He just walks into his death. And now Froggy will as well. And just like that, DFM, they're coming back in a huge way.
That's exactly what they needed. Great setup. They turn off the Baron, find the engage, and Hasmed, he feels confident. He's on Gwen, right? You can't immune that. Knocked into the T, and the close range damage is there. Baron will be secured by DFM, and they should take the gold lead off this huge plays coming out for them.
It is massive what they were able to pull off in the last couple of minutes, because now they have secured the gold lead, and they will go onto this Red Bull Baron power play. And it all starts with BeanJ getting caught.
Yeah, just great pocket of vision found by Steel to get this engaged. And ultimately, if you look at the minimap where this is going on, both the Kalista and the Gwen so far away, no TP to join the fight, which gives a window for DFM to start things up. And then, because they already have vision of the Baron area, someone is forced to face check. Hasmed has that role, but it's just deleted. And in the ensuing fight, DFM just take over.
It's a couple of big kills on the backside of that, as now looks like we're going all in onto it. Tryndamere.
Not the best target, but we'll see.
He is just...
Oh.
What was it? He's just pulling them away from the dragon. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. Yutapon, he'll smite it. He'll figure it out. BeanJ nearly dies as that Vel'Koz damage really beginning to power up here. As now the needlework getting to work. Hasmed able to get another auto in and some more needles as they're trying to turn it onto Taki. Another knockup will come into the set, and that is going to be the end of him as the disintegration rate over the wall as well. Shogun will be put very low.
And you start to see big damage coming out from Yutapon and Yaharong. They are so good with these anti-dive champions. If Saigon Buffalo can't connect, they really struggle to deal with them. They're looking to push this mid-tier 2, and I think Saigon just have to let us go.
Definitely going to have to let that one go. They do have a guy here on the right side, maybe looking to set this one up. Hasmed, he's on vision now. You see that DFM don't seem to care too much. They are going to back off of this for now, though, as the slow will come in, and Hasmed is looking for that engage. Harp might just be the sacrifice as they pull in BeanJ, but they're not able to follow up on the engage. Look at the damage out of this Vel'Koz now, as BeanJ sits on it as well. You can't just run into this guy now, even after that early game. Yaharong is now the boss on this rift. And he's got Steel in the front and Evie leading the charge as well. As Evie nearly gets 100 to 0, has to use that ultimate. Now Shogun's looking to turn it around, but he's going to be blown up by the Vel'Koz. And now that's another double kill here for Yaharong.
And I feel like Yaharong had so little fun in the laning phase, but he's scaled up and doing so much damage in these fights. And it's a short-range composition from Saigon Buffalo. If they don't connect with the Vel'Koz, if they don't get on top of him, they're just getting deleted. And I mean, it's the fact that I can understand if you catch a squishy and they get deleted, but look how much damage Hasmed takes here when he gets comboed. He just gets like absolutely bursted out so quickly.
Yeah, they wait for it, they get the knockup, and then he's pretty much dead, right? I mean, as you mentioned, it's either you blow up the Vel'Koz and the Aphelios, or they blow up you. And I think at this point, with DFM coming back into this game in such a big way, they're the ones that are doing the blowing up, and there's not a lot of hard engage that is succeeding here for SGB.
Yeah, and ultimately, you know, there's still hopes for Saigon Buffalo if they can connect onto them, find big engages. I think they have to fish for flanks here. But I have to say, this Kalista mid, I'm not so sold on it, right? This hasn't been the best advertisement for this pick.
True. Very true. I would say that this game is not entirely the most standard that we've had.
Yeah, that is a gold graph and a half.
Yeah, we're all on a bit of a roller coaster here. Thanks for joining us, guys, as we have had already 39 kills in 25 minutes. So definitely both teams, they have decided that the way we're going to win is through action. We are going to try to just outplay our opponents. So just fight as much as possible and make it work. And so far, DFM are in the lead off the backs of that.
I mean, if we get one more kill, we will have hit 40 kills, and we're only at 26 minutes. I mean, we've seen a lot of games where one team has a ton of kills, right, from T1 in particular, but both teams so bloody in this one. Now, Reset's coming in.
Okay.
They're not looking.
They're ready to go in on this one as the clone is used to get into the back line, but again, the front to back is so good for DFM now. They have their items. They are online. And Evie wasn't even there. They didn't need him. And Taki, he's not in a place now where he has enough survivability to get through the true damage, through the AP, through the AD. He can't survive through all of it, and he just gets blown up.
He is just paper in these situations. And I think DFM are doing a fantastic job with the interrupting the divers from getting to them. And critically, Yaharong and Yutapon, they both have flashes up, and teamfights will be so hard while those are available. In an ideal situation, Saigon wanted the momentum, and you kind of keep burning summoners as they come up, but now DFM are in control. It's a minute away from that third dragon. It'll be, you know, if they get the soul, it'll be full Hex Tech Dragons, which is a lot of attack speed, a lot of ability haste, really good for everyone on the team. We do get the replay coming in, and yeah, the clone ultimately used the gap close, but look how far away everyone else is on Saigon Buffalo. This feels desperate.
But you can see, I mean, it's through the entire Haymaker shield. It doesn't matter. Like, you're the only one in there, and all the carries on the enemy team are super fed. So you are just going to get burned to the ground as he did. So now they find Yaharong. He does have a Zhonya's, but will that be enough to survive? He flashes, but it does not matter. But Steel is so huge now. He also has a GA. So good luck killing this guy. We do have Froggy coming over, though, so Steel is going to just back away and play it safe. Decided not to take the 1v4 this time.
Man, Wukong is so scary when he's this far ahead. Like, I thought Shogun was going to be able to reposition with the ult, but just dies in the CC combo. And sure, you got a kill for Saigon Buffalo, but on the other side of the map, you're losing that tower. Evie a problem in the side lane, and critically now, Dragon up and available. So we do see Yutapon moving over, probably just to solo this one out. Vision control is in favor of Saigon Buffalo in the Baron, but I don't think they can start this.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been extremely risky, but maybe they feel at this point, you know, that maybe they would have to take that risk, but immediately they see Steel and Harp, and they're like, nope, we can't. We are spotted. So that is a third Hextech Drake that is into the pockets of Detonation FocusMe. As this was a nice little play. I mean, this is what you got to do, right, if you are Saigon Buffalo.
But one of the issues is you're burning the flash from the Diana, right, which is not going to be available for a while now. We do see the flash bin from the Vel'Koz, which is obviously nice, but I mean, this damage that comes out from Steel just... He is such a problem, as you said. GA now in pocket, and Wukong is so slippery even without that. He's just a hard champion to kill. With the Morph Malmortius as well. He's doing damage, he's hard to kill, he's slippery, he's got great team fighting. And it's been a fantastic game for him, honestly. I feel like Steel, he's often had good early games, but hasn't always transitioned into the later stages. This is a great example of him just performing throughout the game. 20 kill participation out of 24. Fantastic play from him.
Yeah, and they needed this, right? This is the game that they needed to win. Otherwise, they were out of it. So a great MVP performance from him so far. But the game is not over. You know, this could definitely, I could see this somehow turning back into the hands of Saigon Buffalo. So don't want to call it from here. DFM absolutely in control of this one. But let's see how they go on this, because we've seen a lot of crazy games where it goes to the late game and then all of a sudden, you know, one carry gets blown up and the game is blown wide open. So DFM are still going to have to play it cleanly.
And I think that's a big thing, is that the Wukong for team fights is different, right? You have this dive composition and you have this front to back. So if Saigon Buffalo find a good flank or get access to the backline, they could definitely still win. And critically, they also have a Gwen.
They're going to find Taki here. Don't know what to say about this one. He's going to try to ult into the wall, and you can see the rest of his team. They're like, no, we're not fighting. We're not ready. He's going to go down. And now Evie's zoning away two of them, and he might even get a kill. So 3v2 up on the top side. Steel takes a huge rend to the face as Evie actually, at the end of it, he gets hit by the last bit of the needles as DFM start the Baron.
There is that Gwen factor. BeanJ still up and has ultimate, is healthy. Froggy's gone for the reset. It's up to these two to stop this Baron.
Yeah, the Moonfall for BeanJ. He could try to make it happen. It's not quite enough damage. We got Sonya's out the wazoo now as everybody's got one. BeanJ's going to go down, and that will be the end of this Baron. DFM will be able to pick that one up. As Hasmed, he is going to be combo. As he will eventually try to go down, but the Sonya's comes in here. Yutapon, though, is in position with the super fed Wukong, as the Red Bull Baron power play will now begin for DFM.
Yeah, Yaharong not too appreciative of that play coming out from Harp, but I want to praise Harp in this situation. A great job disrupting the Gwen, keeping Hasmed away from the fight, allowing them to secure the Baron. We now have that in pocket of DFM. They are 4,000 gold up, and in 2 minutes, Soul will be spawning. And we already talked about how Saigon Buffalo want to close on the backline. Hextech Soul would make it so difficult to do so. And here, Taki someone has to face check. You might have seen at the top of your screen, a blue trinket came down. You didn't need to walk in here. And unfortunately, he goes down, and then Steel just, look at this damage coming out.
Yeah, I mean, he's quite literally 1v2ing. And you can see on the backside of this, Evie also just gets chased out. Hasmed doesn't have to look at the explosion. At the end of the day, though, they are able to deny any further annoyances. Oh, I mean, it was pretty annoying, actually. At the end of it, Hasmed did pick up 2 more kills. But, you know, the Baron being in the hands of DFM is still going to be a huge victory for them, as they are looking to get a huge power play on the backs of this.
And I think, honestly, at this point, Saigon Buffalo, they need to find a flank. They need to find a way to get onto these carries. No flash for Yaharong, but Yutapon does have his and exhaust. We'll see if they can find a window to be creative. Look at the set, he's coming!
We might just do this again, as in the backside, Taki this time gets an engage, and he just gets blown up in the front, but this allows Hasmed to try to frontier, and that is not going to be enough. Harp does get chopped down, though, as Shogun and Froggy. Remember, it's 280 carries, and we're 32 minutes into the game as BeanJ, he's lining it up, he's creating a front line. That is a huge moonfall now, as that's going to be 1 kill for BeanJ, and pick one up here for Shogun. As Heavy is all alone, he's got his ultimate rolling, but that is not enough. Steel comes in with the GA, but it does not matter. The shutdown will be handed to Shogun, who picks it up.
Huge play coming out from Saigon Buffalo. They find the flank initially, and it doesn't quite work out ultimately at the start, but then Shogun gets in the fight. This has been someone we've talked about so much.
Can they end?
It's long time as Harp is up. I think Harp should be able to buy enough time.
Yeah.
This is so risky though, because the dragon has spawned. This is Soul. I think they should just grab this. I don't think you can go for the inhibitor, but they might try.
At least.
No, there's
don't,
not enough time. Yeah, they're gonna leave.
Just gonna back out of there. So now that we have a tiny amount of time,
A couple of seconds.
the kill record at MSI 2022 so far is Red Cannon's Aegis as Lee with 15 kills versus IW versus Istanbul Wildcats. So we have tied it now by Steel. He has 15 kills himself. He's looking to overcome that.
Yeah, and ultimately this engage isn't the best. Taki ends up taking the Tryndamere, but a lot of cooldowns are burnt, and it's the re-engage so good here. I want to credit BeanJ because he actually disengages in this situation, and then he finds this opportunity to go in. So he lands his initial his Q onto the Vel'Koz, dashes forward, then flashes out for the re-engage with the ultimate, and that gives so much space to Shogun, who just takes over this fight.
And that's all he needed. He just needed a front line. He's really fed in this one. He's able to proc the GA of Steel. He goes into his own, and he finishes off the job. That's 1,000 more golds.
That's a lot.
1,000 more.
And he's full build now. GA obviously on cooldown, so could switch that one out. But ultimately, DFM still up in gold, but 2,000 at 34 minutes isn't that significant. Critically, both teams 3 dragons apiece. DFM got 3 in a row, but denied that 4th.
And, man, this game has just gone completely off the rails. 55 kills so far.
Oh, my Lord.
We have some very nice kill scores, such as 15, 3, and 9 for Steel. And we got 4 minutes until, you know, I wouldn't even be surprised if they fight before the 4 minutes just because they want to, both teams.
Yeah, they've been pretty fight heavy this game, I'd say. It's probably
a little bit,
probably accurate. Yeah. Man, I mean, I hoped for a good game. I feel like we got more than we really deserved on this one. It's been absolutely fantastic. And DFM are trying to contest that mid-prio. It is a minute 15 until that Baron, but I love this. Some creative wards in deep from Saigon Buffalo.
Oh, they are just on the chase here. Evie's like, no, you can't get away from me, but he's not going to face check into this brush, or this jungle rather. But this is going to open up the mid lane. This is what you were talking about. They contest for mid-prio. Saigon Buffalo do not call their buff, and they're like, okay, that's an inhibitor down now.
Oh, but look at the flank angles.
Oh, BeanJ, he's got that proto rocket belt looking at coming from the side, but Harp is able to tag him so well. He's pulled in to Froggy as Evie's getting low, but Steel is in the back line. He takes out Froggy, and now a huge re-engage does come in from Taki and BeanJ. They create the front line as now Shogun and Hasmed are going wild in the backside of this fight. That is going to be the end of that as the triple comes in for the Kai'Sa, and they should have done it now from here.
This should be it. The death timers after so long. In Saigon Buffalo, they were struggling for such a long time, but they find the window, they find the chaos, they find the backline, and they're going to be able to advance to the Rumble stage after they close this game out.
Just like that. It only took 62 kills, but Saigon Buffalo, they were able to take the win here. The death timers are long enough. Taki does a great job of tanking up the turrets. He flashes the emote, and that is going to do it for this one. Saigon Buffalo pick up their 4th victory, and they move on to the Rumble stage.
Wow. That game was something. I feel like it went back and forth so much. I want to give credit to both teams. Sad loss for DFM, and unfortunately they will be going home, but man, they put in a performance there. They put up such a fight.
He's like, no 70 kills, I sleep.
Yeah, that was a chill game. Easy as it goes.
Yeah, Froggy, he had some fun. He had some fun. You know, he might be saying thank you, team, for the carry. But to be honest, I thought his mechanics in some of those late game fights were also very crucial, right? The fact that he and Shogun, they got fed enough and the game went long enough that finally they found their access to those backlines. The game was even enough for them to actually begin taking some of those divey team fights they have been wanting to do the entire game.
And honestly, I feel like everyone had moments in this game where they really found favor, they really stepped up. I want to give so much praise to Steel for DFM. Fantastic Wukong game throughout the entire thing, and it's heartbreaking, but I feel like both teams represented their region so well in that game. Such a great performance.
Absolutely. What a banger that game was. I mean, we'd love to have like 10 more of those, guys, if we could, you know. But that's what we kind of expected it to be. These two teams very evenly matched. I think that DFM towards the end, maybe their macro failing them a little bit. They win a lot of their early games in the region, and then they don't necessarily have to play that many late games. So it got down to the end of it, and I think Saigon Buffalo did do it a little bit better there. So that's going to do it for that game. That was really insane. Thank you, Aux, for joining me for that one. We will have one more after this. But guys, for now, we will go to a break. Join us after the break.